All right, folks, so how we doing?
Good. How about yourself?
All right, so I'm doing great, and so I got to ask you this here. So, growing up, how much time were you in McDonald's?
All the time. I remember I have memories of me being like 5 years old and back drive-through. That's probably illegal, but I'd be back there with the girls that were working. All the teenage girls would take me back there, and like customers would give me like quarters or like, here's a little tip for you, and I'd be like, okay, thank you. So I remember being at McDonald's all the time. I'd stay in the playland when my mom was there working. I'd have my birthday parties there. My siblings had their birthday parties there, so I was there a lot.
Yeah, I would think so. And so. Your mom was a second generation, so you're third generation franchisee. So who in the family had the first?
My grandfather, Carr Oliver. He had the first McDonald's. He actually got his McDonald's in Chicago, and then relocated to Houston, and now we're all here in Houston now.
And when did he first get his?
I don't know the year, but I know he was around 30 years old.
Oh, gotcha. And so, growing up, was it clear that this is what you were going to do, or was it a choice where you said, you know what, I've seen this, I want to continue essentially the family business?
Growing up, actually, at one point I wanted to go into the family business, then at another point I was like, no, I want to do something else, make a name for myself. So around the time I went off to college, I was like, I'm going to go be a doctor. So I actually went to Baylor University. I decided I wanted to...
I'm sorry.
Oh, so I decided it's okay.
Trust me, my niece went there. So,
really,
yeah.
My best friend went to A&M.
Okay.
So, I decided I wanted to be a doctor. Then I really started thinking, and I realized that I actually enjoyed McDonald's and the bigger aspects besides just fast food. My mom, she was a single mom at one point, so she was always reaching out to all the women at McDonald's, helping them out. And a lot of our employees are women. And a lot of them have kids. So I love the aspect of helping other moms and helping them with their kids if they were going through things as a single mom, or just helping moms and kids in general. So I feel like being able to work at McDonald's, I'm able to reach people I wouldn't reach otherwise. So I love meeting new people that way and helping people that I feel like I wouldn't meet if I wasn't in the position that I am in now.
Well, a lot of people also don't understand that when you talk about the franchises, you're talking about small businesses.
Yeah.
Okay, because small businesses are categorized really in America as less than 500 employees. And so when people hear McDonald's, they think, no, that's the corporation, when really it's that store is really a small business.
Yes, that's true. A lot of times growing up, they're like, well, how do you own a McDonald's? Isn't it the corporation? But that is true. We are individual franchisees. And just depending how large they are, like me and my husband, we have one store. So we own one McDonald's. We're there all the time, really focused with that one store. So it just depends on the situation.
So y'all get married when?
In 20...
Oh, you
Really?
forgot.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Really? There's a pause there? There was a pause there? So you get married in 2016. All of a sudden, you're into the family. Now you realize it's the family business.
Right.
And so when was the decision made that y'all wanted to do your own store?
So I actually started working before we got married. While we were in college, I started working at my mother-in-law's store, and I didn't grow up in McDonald's. It was
So you started working at McDonald's. Gotcha. And that's how y'all met.
No.
So y'all already together before you worked at the McDonald's?
Correct.
Okay, so you really had no choice. You so basically what you said is, I want to get in good with the mama. So I'm going to work at the store.
Basically, she said, "Come to work." I said, "Okay."
Okay. So you went to work at the store.
Yep.
And then what?
So started as a crew, and then once we graduated from college, just made the decision. I said, "Hey, I want to become a general manager," and then started to supervise. And then after supervising, I got into the program. And same thing. I didn't grow up in McDonald's. I was always told never to work for McDonald's. It's a dead end job. You'll be flipping burgers for the rest of your life. So I think seeing that, like she said, my mother-in-law touched so many people's lives, and the effect that you can have on people. That's the story that I want to tell to people, that it's more than just flipping burgers.
Well, I think it's perspective. When we went to Houston Texans game, and I was my brother, his wife, daughter, and their son, and Chris my nephew was probably 3. Wasn't probably but 3, maybe 4. I think probably 3 years old. And after the game, we're under the stadium waiting for the players and the coaches to come out. We were some of the family members, and he has a football, and so he walks up to Wade Phillips, who was the defensive coordinator, to sign his ball. And so Wade goes, "So Chris, what position you want to play?" I said, "No." I said, "Chris is not being raised to play. Chris is being raised to own the team." And I think that so the point that you just made. For a lot of African Americans, they are thinking, oh, what you just said, dead end job. But for you, you saw ownership. So you looked at McDonald's in a totally different way. And isn't that how we need to be actually changing the message of the narrative? Don't look at the fast food job as a dead end job. No. You could be an owner one day.
Yeah, and I think that's, like she said, we're there all the time. I just want to be visible and show them, because they ask me all the time. They're like, how'd you, it's like they're shocked. They're like, you're young. They ask me.
You mean fellow employees?
Right.
Got it.
Right. They ask me all the time. They're like, how old are you? How do you own it? And I just tell them, I was working. I learned everything. Don't take anything for granted. And if you need to learn how to mop the floor, figure 8, that's what you need to know as well. And don't just say, oh, I'm not gonna mop the floor.
So do y'all have proactive conversations with your employees to get them to understand that, you could actually own one?
Yeah.
And how, go ahead.
Yeah, we do, because we have a lot of high school students that work for us and college students. So I feel like for us, since we were younger coming into McDonald's, we love talking to them and trying to mentoring them and giving them advice on how old we got into McDonald's.
What's you?
Oh, I'm 28 and he's 27.
27.
Okay.
So for the last few years, talking to the college students and high school kids, just letting them know there are different avenues you could take, whether it's our Archways Opportunity Program where we give out scholarships to students. We love doing that for our organization and making sure the students know, or whether it's, okay, do you want to try to get an internship with the corporate side? There isn't just the McDonald's side. Or if you do want to be an owner, let's look at ways that can work for you and how you can work for the business to get to those steps. So we do want to present to them different options, not just, like he said, thinking, oh, you're coming in, deadbeat job, flipping burgers, that's it.
One of the things that McDonald's requires, going back to its early days with the expansion under Ray Kroc, that you have to actually work the stores. And so obviously for you saw that your mom had to be in the store. Was that a different understanding for you, being, again, because when people think owner, they think, oh, I own it, other people work. It's like, no. You have to know how to do all of these different things.
Right. No, I agree with Ray Kroc. And for me, it's just, I would never ask somebody to do something that I wouldn't be willing to do myself. So I do everything. Mopping, plunging, stopping the toilets, handing out food. And I would never take the role of, oh, I'm the boss and you should just listen to me. Because I don't think that's a good people trait to have.
So when folks come into the store, is it sometimes funny for you when they may not realize they're actually talking to the owner as opposed to thinking, oh, it must be a manager or something?
Yeah, that happens a lot of time. And sometimes we don't tell them. A lot of times we don't. We're just like, oh, okay, whatever. And then sometimes we may start talking to someone and we do tell them and they're shocked by, oh, you're working, but then why are you working here? Like, what do you do? Like, so you're here in the store and you're the owner? So people are always surprised.
The one of the things that I always talk about is a lot of people want to be the owner, but they don't quite understand. They don't want to fully accept what I call the business of the business. The way these programs work, you aren't just handed a franchise. In fact, it can't just be handed down. You literally have to go through the application process. And so, do you have those conversations as well, getting folks to understand that, look, if you want to be an owner, you better understand the business part, the financing part, what it requires, the capital requirements, things along those lines.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I think a lot of times it's expressing that, because like you said in the beginning, they see McDonald's, the corporation, they think big dollar signs, but in reality, it's a small business. So just showing them that hey, this is what, from a P&L standpoint, from a profit standpoint, and just from a business standpoint, it's more than just saying hi, welcome to McDonald's. It's so much more than that. And just trying to let them see that it's a bright future ahead as well. So that's what I love doing, and just talking to a lot of the crew and the managers as well.
how do you also go beyond the walls of the business, where you make it a community focus?
Well, for us, we actually have 2 locations, one in the University of Houston and one outside the University of Houston. And I know I went to Baylor my first year, but I ended up going to U of H as well. So we both also went to the University of Houston. So we're always doing outreach there. And besides that, we're always going into the communities, going to different schools, whether it's we do bike giveaways for Christmas, whether it's we're doing school supply drives, food drives. We're very visible in the community. And we're also part of the BMOA, which is the Black McDonald Operators Association. So we're always doing things, especially in our community, where we're visible and reaching out to others and letting them know, hey, there are Black owners for McDonald's. You may think, oh, McDonald's the corporation, but here are the faces of the owners here in Houston. So we're always trying to be visible and getting the word spread, because I do think, like you said, people are shocked when they find out, oh, so you're an owner, but you're working, but it's McDonald's. Like, how do you do that? So we're always just trying to raise awareness for the brand.
So when you say you have one store, that's that store. But you said you have a second location inside the university.
Yes, so my mom, she has 7 locations, and we just got our first location 3 months ago. So we still work relatively closely with her because 2 of our locations are really close to her. So we're still working alongside her. So all together as a family, we have 8 at the moment.
Now, how many did your grandfather have?
He had, when he got killed, he had 3.
And so mom said, okay, we're just gonna take it to another level.
Yeah.
See, now she's putting the pressure on y'all. See, he had 3, mom got 7, so y'all gonna have to step it up.
Yeah, we gotta have like 10, 11.
Y'all gonna have to step it up. How many employees do you have?
Total, so for our store, we have 50. For our store, 51, 52, it fluctuates. But her mom, I would say probably close to about 450, 500 almost.
Now, have you had those moments where mom likes to do things one way and y'all like, you know what, we're going to try it this way?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. We had a lot of those moments, especially when we first started working for McDonald's, because we came in and we were like, okay, we just graduated college, we want to do this, this, and that, we're really technology heavy, and she was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What are y'all doing? So I think it was a challenge, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the beginning.
Yeah, we had this conversation yesterday. So she's very old school, she's like, put it in my hand. She needs the paper, she wants to touch and feel it. And I'm the opposite. I like my iPad, I like it all digital.
Right.
And she's like, no, so we'd have meetings and I wouldn't print out the slides for everybody. I would email it to them and say, hey, follow along. And she's
called PDF.
Yeah, PDF. And she's, no, we need to touch and feel it. See, that's what I'm talking about. So all the time, but I love her. We go back and forth, and looking back, it's funny now.
But the thing is, it's your store, right?
Yes, now, but that was just 3 months ago.
Right.
All this other time, we've been with her and her organization.
Yeah. We're working with her on her. But now you kind of like, look, mama, this hour.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, I hear what you're saying, but this hour, we gonna be no paper over here, mama. No paper over here.
Yeah.
So how has she had to handle now the digital screens inside the store? Because no paper.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Well, now she's like, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
And I'm sure y'all probably like, see, we tried to tell you. Like, we tried to tell you what was coming down. See, you listened. But I'm sure those are indeed interesting conversations. Your peer group, how are those conversations when you have folks who you went to college with, they decide to go work in corporate America, other places, but then all of a sudden now you're saying, no, we're actually owners, we're entrepreneurs.
They want to come by for free ice cream and cookies.
And y'all are going, no, the P and the L is called the profit and the loss. What's free is the loss column.
Yeah, we do get a lot of questions. But I feel like we're always answering questions to everyone. They're like, so how are y'all doing that? So do y'all enjoy it? Like, do you think it's worth it? I do think there are benefits to corporate America. I'm not going to say there aren't. I think there are benefits and pros to both having your own business and also working in corporate America. So I think we get a lot of questions, but I feel like it's also interesting hearing corporate America stories since we came straight out of school and right into McDonald's versus some operators will go off in corporate America, experience that, then try to get into the ownership program. So for us, since we went straight into becoming business owners, I feel like it's a little bit different. So I do think it's interesting in corporate America. I think there are pros.
Yeah, no, I think my conversation with my peers is it's kind of pushing both, you know, saying that, hey, you know, ownership is important, and you know, showing them the other side. Because again, I didn't get to see that when I was younger. It was more so, don't go work at McDonald's, and you don't really understand the franchise model. So I think it's more so just bringing awareness to McDonald's and what we do in the community, and just showing them that there's a path to ownership.
So how do you operate when you're traveling or when you're going around? So are y'all constantly doing surveillance of other stores, what they're doing? Are you always looking at how folks are dressed in their badges? Are they smiling? Do they have the right attitude? When you go other places, are you sort of, 'cause look, I'm in media, and so I can be watching something, and I'm like, okay, that's an interesting camera angle. Okay, I like that. I like those colors. And so I may not be, I may stop just watching actually whatever the show is. I'm looking at the other parts of the show. You also do that as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just that competitive nature of wanting to be the best. So it's like, man, I like that. And it's almost, you can learn. You don't always have to go and reinvent the wheel.
Right.
You can learn from someone else. So I'm always looking. I'm like, oh, I like how they put that sign in drive-thru. Or, oh, I would never let my people do that. You know. So it's just, we definitely are always scouting.
How do you also walk your employees through to get them to understand that they are an extension of you? Because look, I worked fast food growing up when I was in college. Worked at Wendy's, and to your point, there were some people who were like, "Oh man, you know, this job means nothing," and I would go, "Yeah, but you don't say that on payday." and so the thing is, I mean, the reality is, you can't interface with every single customer. So the reality is, that employee is an extension of you. Their attitude, what they're dealing with, what they're going through, how they look, how they dress, how they speak, how they talk, a reflection of you. So how do you walk your employees through that? Do you sort of have like the same program Motown had, where they would teach them literally how to act, how to behave, how to walk, how to talk, do all the different things like that?
Yeah, we have a training program from McDonald's, so we always go through that with them. But I think for us, what's really important is that we like to be visible and that we're able to interact with all the employees so they actually know who the owner is. Because so many times people will even go by and we'll be at certain places, oh, who is your owner? And they're like, oh, I don't know. So for us, we really want to make sure that we're able to interact.
You want every employee to know.
Yeah, we
who
make
the
sure that
owner
we're
is.
stopping by multiple times a day so that they're able to interact with us. And I feel like once they get to know you and see, oh, okay, so they're the owner. Oh, okay, they're cool, they're nice. I don't want to disappoint them. And it's really cool to see how when you start building relationships with the kids or the employees, how it's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to disappoint you, so I'm making sure I'm going to do this. So I feel like once you get that respect from them and they see, okay, they're here with me, they want the best for me, they're trying to help me out, at the same time your employees are going to help you out.
Yeah, and I think it's just that compassion part and being there for them, and they start to become a reflection of you just by, we bring the weather in the restaurant, as I like to say. If we come in there and we're pouting and we're sad, then they're only going to act like that as well. But if we're coming in there, we're smiling, we're talking to everybody, that's how they're going to treat everybody too. So I always like to tell them, we bring the weather. We can have a sunny day or we can have a rainy day.
Owners also have a different mentality in that everything is personal. Everything. So you may have an employee who might not think something is that big of a deal, and you're like, no, it is. As in, no, we had to replace that, or we have to pay for that. I am extremely anal when it comes to my gear, my equipment. Why is this piece missing? Why is this not here? Why wasn't this replaced? Where are these cables? Why are they not wrapped a certain way? Because again, when you're working, when you need it, look, you got to be there. Working in fast food, bottom line is, okay, who's not keeping up with inventory? So all of a sudden you're out of something that affects P&L. If you don't have it, bottom line is customers are coming in, then you're losing money. And so what is that like? Are you modeling that as well so they understand, look, you have to be thinking this way as well. In essence, what you're also teaching them, characteristics and traits of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no. And I think for me, it's just being open about stuff. I'll tell you, so at the new store we just got, we had to buy a new frappe machine. The one that was there, it was old and it broke down. So, And I was open about it. I was like, man, this machine, you know, I told them the cost. I told them, you know, keeping it clean and just letting them know that, you know, it's about the P&L and just showing them.
You
that,
like, look.
Yeah, yeah.
Look, y'all.
I'm like, this is my baby. Y'all take care of my baby.
You're like, that's a car.
Yeah, yeah. But I think once you show them that it's more than that, they'll take ownership of it as well, because they're like, hey, you know, he's teaching me as well. So I think that's the key, is just being able to inspire other people and to teach them stuff, and that's just kind of what we try to do.
Have you also find yourself recruiting other African Americans to try to become franchisees?
Yeah, we're always talking to people, trying to persuade them to see what they want to do, or if they want to, you know, go down an avenue, even if it's not McDonald's, any other type of business style owning.
And we're actually, her mom, with Lauren?
Yeah, we're actually training a registered applicant. She's an African-American girl. What was she doing before?
I think she was like a chemical engineer or something like that.
Yeah, she was a chemical engineer, and right now she's training under my mom's organization to get licensed and to become an owner. So the process takes sometimes around 2 years. So she started about 6-7 months ago. So we've been working closely with her, like letting her know how it is. Any questions she has, we're answering them.
Cool. Well, sounds good. Well, certainly good chatting with you, and I'm quite sure it is. Again, I would say I'm not quite sure. I'm sure. I'm confident that from the employee standpoint, for them being able to actually talk, meet, and communicate with owners, because I always say, when you don't know, you don't know. And when we are able to see ownership, then we go, oh, I can do that. So for me, my grandmother had a catering business. My mom had a cake business. So that was literally my entire growing up. I actually saw that, saw Black African Americans owning a business. So it was not an issue for me saying I'm going to do it as well. So congratulations.
No, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.